Good morning, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you might be watching. Jeff Hudson here from United Computers. I'd like to demonstrate to you, and perhaps in a teaching sense, show you how to create a basic PowerPoint presentation. The presentation we're going to create is for a new golf club. It's called the New York Golf Club. And whenever I first open PowerPoint, I see here that there is a title slide and it says click to add title, which I'm going to do, and I'll simply type in New York Golf Club, and I see also that I can click to add a subtitle, which I'll do, and we're going to say New York's newest golf club. Now, whenever I click in one of these areas, I see that the area is surrounded by a dashed line, and I also see the resize handles. When I point at them, my mouse changes to a double-headed arrow, which means that if I hold down the left mouse button, I can resize that area. This is called a placeholder. If I click on the edge of the placeholder, the dashed line becomes a solid line. And the significance of this is that the data within the placeholder is selected. I don't have to drag through it. I simply need to click on the edge. And when I do that, I can format whatever I need to within that placeholder. So I'm going to change the text color of the title to red and bold, and I'll italicize it. While I'm there, I might change the size of the font from 44, we'll say, to 48. I'll also click on the placeholder down here with the subtitle, click on the edge of the placeholder, and I'll make the text within that area a royally blue. We'll say that blue there, and I'll bold it. So there we go. I'll italicize it while I'm here for appearance sake. So I didn't have to select any text. I simply clicked on the edge of the placeholder. And that was when I saw my mouse change to a four-headed arrow. The four-headed arrow means that I can hold down my left mouse button and move that particular placeholder to wherever I want. So far, nice and easy. Now I'm going to insert a new slide. The next slide I want beneath the current slide, and I see that this slide is selected, so the new slide will appear beneath the selected slide, and I'll click New Slide. By default, that brings up a title and content slide. Again, by default, the content are bullet points. So now I'm going to click to add a title here, and we'll say Membership Benefits. And the benefits, bullet pointed, will be regular competitions, and we'll say enter to give me a new bullet point, great prizes. And what I'm going to do here, I want to add what the prizes are, but I don't want them in a new bullet point. I want them to be, as it were, sub-headings of great prizes. So what I do, I hold down the Shift key and press enter. And I'll say golf balls, Shift and enter, tees, and we'll say free dinners. Hopefully that will entice the members. Now when I press enter, I get another bullet point, and this one will say ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Oops, gentlemen, welcome. And I'm going to say that that particular data down in there is sufficient for the second slide. A little rule as it were, in PowerPoint, never have too many words on a slide. Don't have too many colours on a slide. We're going to choose a design shortly at the click of a mouse, and I can change the way this looks to a quite professional looking presentation. But at this, now what I want to do is to select, and I'm going to change the font size of those subheadings down to, we'll say, 24. And if I click before each of the headings and press the tab key, then I can have those tabbed in a little bit there. Now I'm going to insert another new slide, which of course, as you now know, will appear below the selected slide. And I'm going to make this particular slide not a title and content slide, but I'm going to change the slide layout by clicking up here on the drop arrow, and I want to make it a 2 content slide. In other words, I see 2 bullet point areas. And I'm going to say in this title, I want to make it membership fees. And I'll click to add text here, and I'll say gentlemen, enter, ladies and juniors, and shift and enter must be less than 16 years. Oops. Less than 16 years old. And I'm going to change the font size there as I did previously, and we'll make that size 20. And over here I'll say $1,000 per annum, enter. Ladies will be $750 per annum, enter. And the juniors will say $250 per annum. So let's look at how our presentation looks at the moment. I'm going to go to the slideshow tab up here and say run the slideshow from the beginning. And there is my slideshow. Simply clicking the mouse or pressing the space bar will take me to the next slide there, and the final slide at this stage there. And I'm going to now click, which will say end of slideshow, click to exit, which takes me back to the exercise that I'm using. Now if I want to use the keyboard to run a slideshow, if I press the F5 key, that will run the slideshow from the very start. If I just want to see how a particular slide looks, then I would hold down the Shift key and press F5, and I would see that the particular selected slide would appear on the screen. So remember those two little shortcuts: F5 to run right from the very start, Shift F5 to run the slideshow from the selected slide. But now I'm going to say in the Design tab, I'm going to choose a design on all of the slides. So let's look at how they will appear. And if I hover my mouse over one of the designs, I will see how it looks so that I can choose a particular design to make the presentation rather more interesting. I also see here that there is a small drop arrow which shows me more designs. What's this one here? Well, don't like that one very much. Don't like that one. What about the blue one over here? Yep, that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to click there, and I see that all of my slides change to the particular design. So let's now run the slideshow again, and I'm going to go to slideshow from the beginning. And there is my slideshow. It looks rather more interesting, and as I go through with my space bar in this case, I see that it has its own design of bullet points, and it looks rather reasonable, certainly rather more reasonable. So this is the first demonstration and lesson in how to create a slideshow. What I'm going to do is to develop this particular presentation in further upcoming uploads in YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe, and you'll be automatically notified of when the next presentation is uploaded.